Let's talk about strengths. What does it really mean to have a strength? Strengths are the positive traits, skills, or talents that make us who we are. They include knowledge, abilities, and personal qualities that we excel at. On the flip side, weaknesses are the opposite. They're traits or skills that aren't as developed, things that might hold us back or need improvement. So, what does it mean when someone asks you about your strengths and weaknesses? You've probably heard this question in job interviews, or maybe when applying for a program or a scholarship. They're not just curious, they want to know how your strengths and weaknesses will affect your performance in that role. Answering this question isn't always easy. It requires self awareness, taking a step back, and reflecting honestly. For example, if you're applying to graduate school, you might focus on study skills. But if you're applying for a job in sales, social skills might be more relevant. Now, understanding strengths goes deeper than just self reflection. Psychology and science give us tools to better understand ourselves. Take Clifton Strengths, for example, a science based assessment that helps reveal your natural abilities, or what some call your talent DNA. These tools analyze patterns in the way you think, feel, and act. They identify your top themes, areas where you naturally shine, and your bottom themes, which have less influence on your behavior. Knowing this gives you a language to talk about your talents and helps you understand yourself better. Research also suggests that strengths can be grouped into five main types: interpersonal strengths like leadership, teamwork, kindness, fairness, and forgiveness; intellectual strengths such as creativity, curiosity, love of learning, and open mindedness; emotional strengths including zest, hope, and bravery; strengths of restraint like prudence, self regulation, and honesty; and theological strengths, which include faith, gratitude, and an appreciation of beauty. Understanding these categories can help you see where your natural abilities lie and where you might not be as strong. It gives you a roadmap for using your strengths more effectively and working on your weaknesses. Speaking of weaknesses, having one doesn't mean you completely lack that strength. It just means that particular area isn't as developed for you. For example, I might be naturally kind but not so great at teamwork. I might have strong intellectual strengths but fewer theological strengths. Recognizing this is key. It's not about judgment, it's about understanding and growth. Why do strengths matter? Well, they help us achieve goals, succeed in our work, and feel satisfied in life. Strengths like gratitude, hope, and love are linked to life satisfaction. So, knowing your strengths and being aware of your weaknesses lets you create a plan to grow in the areas that matter most. Here are five big reasons to explore your strengths and weaknesses. Self awareness. Reflecting on your traits helps you understand yourself better and make decisions aligned with who you truly are. Understanding others. When you know yourself, you become more empathetic and aware of others, improving relationships. Focus. Knowing your strengths helps you put them to best use. Improvement. Knowing your weaknesses shows where growth is possible. Self appreciation. Seeing your talents clearly can boost confidence and help you value yourself. To find your strengths, start by listing your skills, both technical and soft skills. Include personal strengths like reliability, creativity, or kindness. Then do the same for weaknesses, focusing on areas that matter for your goals or well being. Working on these little by little can help turn weaknesses into strengths. Sometimes it's hard to see all your strengths. A long list can help. Things like being trustworthy, cooperative, disciplined, patient, kind, determined, innovative, or even funny, these are all strengths. You probably have more than you realize. It's also important to remember that strengths and weaknesses aren't static. As you grow, you develop new strengths, and some weaknesses may shift into areas of competence. So, periodically, take a moment to reevaluate your traits and celebrate small improvements along the way. Activities like reflecting on your positive qualities, imagining your best self, or thinking about how to use your strengths daily can make a big difference. You can also strategically manage weaknesses by applying existing strengths or partnering with others who complement your abilities. Even in organizations, strengths and weaknesses are key. Tools like SWOT or TOWS analyses help groups leverage strengths, address weaknesses, and take advantage of opportunities. But the principle is the same for personal growth. Know what you're good at, see where you need support, and use that knowledge strategically. Sometimes asking for outside perspective helps too. Friends, colleagues, or mentors can often see strengths you take for granted. And once you identify your strengths, Think about how to use them more intentionally, maybe a side project, a new hobby, or a change in focus at work. Finally, celebrate your progress. Developing strengths takes time, patience, and insight. Pause to recognize the small victories, they matter.
If you're someone who helps others improve their well-being, be sure to check out our Well-Being Strategist training and certificate program by clicking the link in the description below.